Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful summer weekend and you're ready to hit it. So first thing is, last week you got your 5Q tape breakdown. This advisor does a lot of things with mutual fund script, a lot of things right with mutual fund script, even asks the right motive question and then strikes out. So guys, unfortunately, it's like anything. Have you ever seen those like Olympic races or bike races where the person celebrates before they cross the finish line? What can happen? Boom, you lose it all. So all that hard work to get to that point, and if you don't cross the finish line, does it matter how well you did everything else? It does not. So take a listen. If you haven't been listening to these tape breakdowns, they're very short. Listen to them and learn from these guys' lessons right with a real live meeting. So please go back and listen to that. The trick to getting people to open your emails, so especially when they ghost you. So people buy from people they trust, and they trust people they like. People buy from people they trust, and they trust people they like. So when we're writing in emails, and this is a problem that a lot of advisors have, and a lot of advisors don't have, but a lot of advisors that have this problem, they're very smart, they're great advisors, but they're like financial advisor robots. They feel like they have to be 100% professional all the time. And if you're 100% professional all the time, you think, well, yeah, I have to be professional or they won't trust me. So what is this saying? That you have to be professional or they won't trust you, or they have to like you and they won't trust you? We've all got that guy across town who's an idiot, right? You run across his clients all the time. And if they're 20 years old, they have all their funds in American funds. If they're 40 years old, all their funds in American funds. If they're 90 years old, all their funds in American funds. If they're an owner of a business, they have all their funds in American funds. And you wonder, how can this guy be so successful? He's a doughhead when it comes to financial advice. So why is he so successful, guys? The 20-year-old, the 40-year-old, the 90-year-old, and the business owner all what? Yeah, they love him. They like him. So if you want to start nurturing people so they like you, you got to start with your emails. So you can't be totally unprofessional, but there is a line you can walk between professional and personable. So I want to talk about that. First thing, you got to get them to open up the email, right? So subject lines matter. If you don't have a great subject line, they're not even going to read it. So please complete the enclosed paperwork. So that's what, if you've got, this is an example of a subject line. So would you say this is professional or this is personal? Personable. Professional or personable? Yeah, it's professional. What if instead you said, hey, please sign these so we can get you paid? So which one would you be more likely to be excited about opening? Which one? Top one or bottom one? Top or bottom? You personally. Yeah, bottom one. So that's an example of they're both saying the same thing. First of all, this one sounds more like you would talk to somebody. Would you ever say, please complete the enclosed paperwork to somebody on the phone? Would you ever say that? How cold does that sound? Now, would you say, hey, please sign these so we can get you paid? Would you say that? I'd say that. So you want to write like you speak. And is the way we write always grammatically correct? No. I'm sorry, the way we write. I'm sorry. Is the way we speak always, a lot of you guys know what I was trying to say there. The way we speak always grammatically correct? No. But when you're writing, you want it to sound as if, when they're reading it, as if you're talking to you. You want them to actually hear your voice in the words. Does that make sense? So how do you get people who ghost you, or not ghost you? I mean, how do you get people that you don't know? Maybe it's a referral. Maybe it's somebody you think would be a good client. Maybe it's a good referral resource, somebody who you do not know. Well, do you want to say, I get this constantly from LinkedIn. People just bombard me with things like, interested in collaborating? Do you think I'm going to click that? No way. I have no way, if I wanted to collaborate, guess what I would have done a long time ago? Reached out to them. But what about, got an idea for collaborating involves chopsticks and Buffett, the Warren type. Now, would I be more likely at least to reach out to see what are they talking about? Which one? The top one or the bottom one? Bottom one, yeah. Better yet, instead of trying to be using curiosity as a way to get people to respond to you, get personal. If you really have somebody that you want to get in front of because they're a leader in the community, because you know they just retired, whatever it may be, you thinking, if I could get this, business owner who you know are going to be selling their business, if there's somebody that you want to get in front of and you've targeted them, can you afford to be spend a little bit more time doing research? Yes, if they're that good, you can do some research. You want to get personal. So by getting personal, you could say something like, hey, was that you at the Chamber of Commerce social hour? Hey, your post on taxation was spot on. Hey, do you mind if I use this quote from your letter to the editor? So then when you do that, guess how much more often people will respond to you. So when somebody reaches out to me via LinkedIn and it's apparent they've done some research on me, just not like something like, hey, I love your website. Is that personal, guys? Hey, love your website. Looks like you got a lot going on there. No. You have to talk about one thing in particular. It's like we do, it's like it's empowering, isn't it? It's not getting, or they're getting on my side or you're getting on their side by empowering them, telling them they're above average. Your post on taxation was spot on. Hey, that quote was so good from your letter that I want to use it. So he's telling them they're above average. That gets people to respond. Empowering is the most powerful tool we have in our toolbox. And use a casual greeting. Don't use hello, dear, or greetings. Use hi, hey there. Something much more colloquial, something much more casual to get them to respond. And make sure the first sentence is personal, not I hope you're well, I think you might be interested in. Because when you say those two things, who could you write that to? Could you write that to a friend? Yeah. Could you write it to a stranger? Yeah. Could you write to somebody who you're trying to sell something to? Yes. Which means it is personal or isn't personal if it can be written to anybody, if you can start it out with anybody. Now, if you say, I keep thinking about what you said, could that be to a stranger, somebody you want to sell? I mean, it's more what? It's personal. It's something they said. Been thinking about you today. I remember you said that you hate the heat. See, those types of things are personal. Write like you speak. Every time you write your versus you are, your spell check on your Word or email tells you what? No, you're supposed to write you are. So should you have your or you are? Which one do you think? Your or you are? Yep, your. You'll versus you will. I'll versus I will. It's versus it is. See, again, how many of us say it is versus it's? It's going to be a good day. It is going to be a good day. No, it's going to be a good day. I'll buy you the next beer if you buy me the next. I will buy you the next beer if you buy me the next. How do you speak? Yeah, Spock only. That's right, Tom. Finish with a warm setup. This is the most awkward thing. Well, let's see how many of you guys pay attention. What's my sign off? How many of you guys on my emails? What's my sign off? Nope, not cheers. Wow. Nope, not thanks again. Nobody's reading my emails. Ah, John's got it. Thank you, John. Happy trails. So that's something that you don't see very often. So warmly, cheers, yours, talk soon, gratefully, thanks again. You just have to be, make sure the way you're signing off has some warmth in it, not just a standard best regards. Best regards is personal, or is that about as cold as you can get? That's cold. Okay. So those are those. Is it okay if I come across hints every month or two about how to write emails? Is it okay if I shoot those to you? Obviously, this is not a over a course on how to write an email, but it's these little bits and pieces that maybe you're writing an email tomorrow. You're like, oh, we just talked about that yesterday, and it will help you write a little bit better. So the main topic today is talking about financial planning has failed. So this was actually, there's a book written about that. There's been actually 2 different articles in our magazines, I think ThinkAdvisor magazine and Financial Planning magazine, talking about the financial planning has failed. Why? Why are they saying financial planning has failed? I've been saying it for 27 years, financial planning has failed. I was the #1 financial planning salesperson for Ameriprise, or it was called, IDS back then, but Ameriprise. Yeah, that's right. Mark's got it. Mark, you just jumped into the call. Boom, gives the right answer right away. Awesome. Yep, Tom's right. Because it's out of date immediately. But these books and the articles are also giving another reason. But the big reason I quit doing it is because it's out of date. Can we predict what the inflation rate is going to be? Can we predict what their expenses are going to be? Can we predict what their rate of return is going to be? Now, even if we predicted their rate of return, so we predicted the rate of return is going to be 7.5%, and over the next 20 years, it's 7.5%. Did we nail it, or are we still off by a long shot? We predicted 7.5, and it ends up being 7.5. So did we nail it, or are we off by a long shot? That's right, Bruce, we're off by a long shot. Why? Yeah, sequence of returns, Nick. Sequence of returns. It doesn't matter. Now, if it was a 20-year-old and we predicted 7.5 and they got 7.5, then we nailed it. But are we working with 20-year-olds? See, as Jeff always talks about, climbing the mountain, saving that money all the way up the mountain, saving that money all the way to retirement, doesn't matter how you get that return. 7.5 to 7.5. Doesn't matter if you got 0 for 20 years and you had a huge return that last year. It does not matter. But the people we're working with are retired. How much a sequence of return matters? Hugely. So that's the main thing that they're saying is why it's obsolete. But there's another reason. What's the #1 reason people leave their current advisor? Yep, everybody's getting it. A lack of communication. Lack of communication. And what is lack of communication telling that client? What is lack of communication telling that client? Yeah, we don't care, Ben. We don't care. That's what it's saying. You're just a number. That's right. You just want to sell them something. That's what it tells them. That's why worrying so much about financial planning is not the right way to go. How is the 21-point checklist different? How is the 21-point checklist different than the typical financial plan? Do we try to predict anything with our 21-point checklist? No. That's right. So that's, first of all, the main reason financial plans fail is because of predictions. We don't predict. Okay. The second thing is care. What is half of the 21-point checklist about? What's the first half of the 21-point checklist about? Showing we care. That's right. Showing that we care. Because the thing about people, especially the more money they have, the more they think this way. I'm not going to work with you until I know how much you care. But the problem is you can't show how much you care until they start working with you if you use a typical financial plan. Because the typical financial plan is all about money, 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 money. I'll show them that I care after they move their money. The problem with that is they're not going to what? Move their money, because they don't know if you care. Does anybody out there really think one advisor is smarter than another advisor? No. What are they worried about? Yeah, Bruce. What are they worried about? That's right. Does this person care about me? Will they put my concerns above their own? And I constantly get people who ask me, do you know a good advisor? Do you know a good advisor? Do you know a good advisor? And what are they worried about? They're not worried about it. They're not asking me what's his qualifications, how many certifications does he have? What do they want to know? Is this guy going to put their my concerns ahead of their own? That's what they want to look at. That's what they're looking for. So let's look at some of the things that the MIT Age Lab is fantastic research and resource for retirees. The MIT Age Lab and what they found. They found that personal communication was the #1 reason for success with a financial plan. If it's all about numbers, it's not gonna work. Why would the power of personal connection make a financial plan work? Why would it make it work? For 8 years, I made $50,000 a year. I was a CFP for 3 of those years. My financial plans could have been in the Smithsonian. They were so perfect. I was offsetting taxes with tax credits. I was doing this and that. I mean, doing all sorts. These things were awesome. Yes, Bruce. They will not follow through on your recommendations if all you are is professional. They will follow through on your recommendations when you have that personal connection. And it's also we can leverage that because it's also the #1 reason people leave their advisor. It's not rate of return. It's not because they didn't have a good software. It's not because they didn't have enough credentials. The #1 reason people leave their advisors, do not have that personal connection, and it's communicated to them in the fact that they're not getting communication. So today you will say, I'm good with confidence. Now, what does that mean? So just because they're all smiles at your meetings, does that mean that they're on board with you? Does that mean they're never going to leave you? No, most people just want to, they want to get through this meeting comfortably. Now, will satisfied people have a good time with you in your office? Will satisfied people joke with you in the office? Will satisfied people wish you a happy 4th of July? Yeah, but do you want satisfied clients, guys? So I'm getting mostly the right answers and a few wrong answers. What's the problem with a satisfied client? Satisfied client is going to stay with you until they find something better. A satisfied client is going to stay with you until they find something better. A loyal client doesn't even look for something better. And what's the #1 way you can tell whether you have a loyal client or not? Nick, good job. Dale. Tom. Loyal clients on average refer 2.5 referrals per year. So if you're not getting referrals from your clients, what does that tell you? They're loyal or they're satisfied. And again, not every single loyal client will refer to you. The average of 2.5 means because some will refer 5 people to you. We had Tom talking here about 6 months ago. Every time I talk to Tom, he's gotten more referrals. What does that tell you about his clients? So don't tell me we can't get referrals. Tom, I think he's been averaging like 2 referrals a month, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but about an average of 2 referrals per month over the last, during 2021. How many of you are averaging 2 referrals a month over this year? So that should tell you, first of all, that it's possible if you do the right things. And remember, those of you that remember when Tom was on talking and the change that Tom helped us incorporate in 5Q, why do you think he's getting so many referrals? Do you remember what he talked about on the coaching call? Right. Got one right answer. How many times does Tom communicate with clients and prospects during the sales process and after the sales process? Have any of you read the new procedures manual that we put in place after incorporating some of Tom's ideas and laying them out side by side? If you haven't, you need to go back and look at those. He is contacting them over and over and over. And very good, Mark. It's personal. It's personal. Tom has a dossier on every single client on what they like and what they don't like. He has sent engraved whiskey glasses to people because they said that they like, that they're whiskey aficionados. He has sent golf things to golfers. He has sent kid things to grandparents. He personalizes it. That's why he gets referrals. That's why his clients are loyal to them. And connections are made with emotional bonds. So here's the thing. This is what the MIT ACE Labs get. Connections are made with emotional bonds. When I was coming up with fantastic Smithsonian worthwhile or financial plans, did that get me clients? No. See, if all I talk about is sex on a date, what does the girl know about me? What does the lady know about me? As an advisor, if the only thing I talk about money, what does she know about, or what do they know about me? I'm only in it for what? The moolah. And that's fine. That's fine as long as what? That works. That absolutely works until what? When does that quit working? Oh, when they find something better. That's right, Bruce. That's one thing. When is the other time that quits working? If the only thing you talk about is money, the money better be doing what? Because when the money goes the other direction, what happens to your communication with that client? If you're all about that, I have a great money manager. My money manager is great. My research is great. Money. That works as long as you're performing. But as soon as you make a misstep, and is it you making a misstep with investing? No. Do you have any control over what the market's going to do? Do you have any control what's going to happen in the market tomorrow? Do you have any control over what your money manager is going to do tomorrow? And we all know that is there any money manager that's going to be able to save you when the market goes down? And don't tell me, well, they'll go down less than the market. Guys, does a client really care that if the market falls 20%, they're only down 15%? Do they look at that as a win? You may try to explain it as a win, but are they going to look at that as a win? No. You lost the money. But you told them that it was going to happen. I told you that this happened. We just have to wait it out. Is that the way they look at it? No. So why do we do all these non-financial things? And why do we cover all those non-financial things every annual meeting? To remind them I'm just not about the what? The money. See, most advisors haven't invested time, energy, or resources in helping clients with other facets of their lives. That's what MIT ACE Lab found out. Most advisors haven't invested time, energy, or resources in helping clients with other facets of life. Do we? Do we help them with other facets of their life? What's the whole 21-point first half of the 21-point checklist about? Yes. Another entity, Qualtrics, did research, found that clients select, maintain advisor relationships based primarily on trust. So what's our 21-point checklist doing, guys? What is our 21-point checklist? When done, what is the number one thing you know it was successful? If you do a 20-point checklist, what's the number one thing you know if it's successful? Well, Bruce says building trust. That's right, Bruce, but that's secondary. What's the primary thing we're doing at the end of the second meeting? We're not building our relationship. What are we doing? Come on, guys. You should all know the answer to this. Thank you, Tom. They no longer trust their guy, right? My guy doesn't know things. He doesn't care about things. And in fact, he hid information from me that put him in a better position and me in a worse position. It breaks the trust because you say so, or because the client says so. Because the client says so. And if that's the research found that clients select, maintain advisory relationships based on primarily trust. If you break the trust, what happens to maintaining the relationships for that current advisor? That trust it goes away. See, investment track record was the biggest reason clients felt let down. So if the only thing you talk about is money, guess how many clients are going to leave you when the market finally turns? And will the market finally turn, guys? Yes. So if most or all of your relationships is based on their investments, dude, you're screwed when what happens? And Jeff, can you come on a second?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What kind of advisor do we have? Insurance professionals, registered reps, or investment advisors? What are we deluged with every time there's a major market downturn? In 2000, in 2008, in 2013, what kind of advisor then, without us even reaching out to them, starts calling 5Q and says, I need what you have, I'm moving over to you? What kind of advisor? An RIA, registered rep, or an investment professional?
Registered reps.
Yeah, and why are they doing that? What's happening to their business?
It's collapsing. They're losing AUM because the market's going down, and on top of that, they're losing clients because people are leaving, figuring I can lose money anywhere.
That's exactly what we get deluged with RIAs because they get double whammy. They lose twice as much as they thought. And I get it. I want assets under management too. And I would sit there and dream and say, geez, if I brought on 10 million and that money grew at 10%, and I brought another 10 million, it grew at 10%, and then the next year I brought in 12 million, and I start adding up, man, by 10 years from now, I'm making $1 million a year. And it's it. Guys, does it really happen that way? No. So you need to be talking about other things so that when the market goes down, with our registered investment advisors, when the market goes down, guess how many clients they lose? In 2008, 0. None of them lost clients. Why? Because they first of all, they had a 50-50 portfolio. And second of all, the client realized that there were more than just about, it was not tied to performance, as right, Tom. So can we control market returns, inflation, emergencies? We can't. What are the outcomes? If we focus on areas we cannot control, what's going to happen? See, there's things that matter, there's things to control, and this is what you should focus on. This is what you should focus on. So let me ask you a question. How many of the things in the 21-point checklist do we not control? Of the 21 things, what of those 21 things are we not in control of? How many of those things in the 20-point checklist are we not in control of? Guys, are we in control of Survivor's Guide, the will and trust? Now, they may or may not do it, but if I've covered it, I've covered it. They know I've covered it, and every time I meet with them, I cover it. They know I've tried to do this. Power of attorney, medical power of attorney, quality of life directive, identity theft booklet, umbrella liability insurance. How many of these things, when we recommend them, having titling correct, having the beneficiaries correct, having fees that are reasonable, lowering turnover costs, having not having any money in bonds, having our investment weighting right, having manager tenure that reflects the best of the best out there, risk reward. I mean, all these. Are we in control of all these things? Yes. With a financial plan, how many of those things are you in control of? Are you in control of how much they spend? Are you in control of return? Are you in control of inflation? Are you in control of any of those things? See, our financial plan, you're in control of all those things. So when you do an annual review, make sure you're covering all those non-financial things. Why? Why do you need to cover all those financial things? There's two reasons why. Why do you need to cover all those financial things? Reinforces what? You're right. Reinforces what? What does it reinforce? That we care. That we're not just about the money. That's exactly. Now, what's the second reason? Holistic, right, Steve? What's the second reason we do it? What's the second reason we do it? Well, first of all, make sure you go to the interviews and look at how we do them and to get the most benefit, this coaching call, and walk you through exactly how to do it. Make sure you go there. Nobody's getting the second reason. Guys, what's our referral script about? See, the reason our referral script works, all the other referral scripts out there are what? They say, hey, you know what? I get paid 2 different ways. One is by helping you. The second is by you giving me more clients. How does that referral script, guys, work? Does that work well? Hey, I get paid 2 different ways. Help me out. Hey, you know, if you refer to me, I can spend more time on your accounts. And they say what? You mean you're not spending time on my accounts? Does that work very well? Any of the referral scripts out there where you say, help me, they think, dude, I just helped you. I gave you all my money. How well does that referral script work where you say, hey, help me? Does that work well, guys? Yes, yay or nay? Y or N? No, it does not work. How about the one where you say, hey, I can help your friends. Hey, I can help your friends. Know anybody where I can help them out? Do they really think that you're trying to help them, or do they think you're trying to what? Make money on them. And do you ever send the guy who roofed your house over to your neighbor or your friend, the guy who sided your house, the guy who sold you a car? Do you ever give them the name to them or try to force them on? Now, if a friend, neighbor, relative comes to you and says, hey, do you know a guy? We all will say, yeah, I know a great guy. But then if that's what our referral process is going to wait for, is a friend, neighbor, or relative to ask our clients, do you know a guy? How many referrals are you going to get per year? If you're waiting for your friends, neighbor, relatives to have a friend, neighbor, when you're waiting for your clients to have a friend, neighbor, relative say, hey, do you know anybody? How many are you going to get a year? That's right. 0 or 1. So that doesn't work. So why does our referral script work? And it works unbelievably well. Why does ours work? Are they helping their friend, neighbor, or relative? Sure. Are they helping the advisor? Sure. But who are they really helping? That's right. You guys are smart. It's helping themselves. Because remember, when we're covering all these things, you know, we can fix all these things, and then we just say, again, I'm going to ask, now, do you have any friends, neighbors, or relatives? Or do you know anybody that looks up to you, comes to you for advice, runs things by you before they do something? And some people say yes, and some people say no. You say, well, if they say yes, you say, well, if one of these things happened to them and they didn't have these documents in place, whose phone might they pick up and call? Oh, mine. Yeah, so then their problems have become whose problems? Oh, shoot, my problems. Is there anybody you'd like me to sit down with for a half an hour, 30 minutes, and I'll get all of this documentation put together for them? Now, think about that, guys. Normally when we ask for a referral, they think, oh, all you're trying to do is sell them, and I don't want to stick a salesman on them. And guys, I hope there's nobody on the call saying, but I'm not a salesman, I'm an advisor, and I don't think they think that. They think I'm actually trying to help them. Is that really what they think, guys? The reason you want to work with their friend, neighbor, or relative so you can help them? No, they think you want to do it to make more money. But when you say spend a half an hour with them, so does that seem onerous or pretty mild, a half an hour with them? Mild or onerous? Easy peasy, that's right, easy peasy. And then I say, fill out these documents. Do I say help them with their investments? No, I say fill out these documents. Which one is more reasonable, filling out these documents? Which one's easier for them to refer to? Filling out these documents or wanting to look at their friends' monies? See, do you see why this works? It helps them, and it's also a much more mild referral. And then all they're going to do, and who are they giving that? Who are they referring? Somebody who's going to push back on them, or somebody who's going to be open to this because they always do come to this person for help. So it's like, oh, geez, my mom's got to see, my sis got to do it, my neighbor's got to do this. He's always coming to me wanting to know. See, they're already trusted, so it's so easy to do. That referral script is only 2-3 minutes long. So how good should you be at that? And you should be doing that once a year with your clients? Do things change for their friends, neighbors, and relatives? Does their friend's husband die and now the wife is looking to them for help constantly? Does the wife die and the husband's looking to them for help constantly? Those things happen. So that's what you need to be doing annually. Solidify your relationship that you care. So when things do go badly, your clients stay with you because they're loyal. And when they're loyal, they refer to you. And when you ask, even coax that more or stoke that fire by using the referral script, they're going to refer even more to you. So make sure, if you're doing any interviews, make sure you look at this prior to doing them, and make sure you understand the referral script, okay? And you can find that right down here. When you type in referral script at the top, there's several places it's in there, and you see it's under the 21 Light process, it's under important news, and it's under audio video school. And you click any one of those. In this example, you went down to the 21 Light process, and there's a referral script down there. Does that make sense? Coolio. So the takeaways from today's call are this: be personable in your emails, be personable in your financial planning. Don't be ultra professional in your emails. Don't be ultra professional in your financial planning, because if all you do is talk about the money, that's going to work until things go poorly. And when things go poorly, they can go poorly fast. Does that make sense? And the added benefit to this is when you are personable, when you do the financial planning, you're going to have not satisfied clients, but you're going to have loyal clients, and loyal clients refer, especially when you are able to stoke those fires. All right? So hopefully this was a helpful half hour or so for you, and you guys have a fabulous rest of the week, and we will talk to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.